The first episode kicks off with Noon, a scientist working on growing artificial hearts in the International Space Station. She's using the lack of gravity to help cells form more naturally into a heart. Excited about her breakthrough, she calls her husband Nant to share the news. She explains how this research could lead to 3D printed hearts, eliminating the need for donors and saving countless lives. Noon also tells Nant how much she misses him and their dog Harvey, and thanks him for supporting her dream. It's been 3 years since she's seen them, but she's thrilled she'll be home in just 10 days. But tragedy strikes. During the shuttle's re-entry into Earth's atmosphere, a fire in the air supply system depletes the astronauts' oxygen, and Noon doesn't make it back. Her body is cryogenically preserved for a 100-day funeral rite before cremation, following Buddhist tradition. Nant is devastated. 2 months later, Nant is still grieving. He reminisces about how they met at a museum. He'd designed a picture of a Martian colony and explained how he wanted the homes to feel welcoming for people who might feel homesick living so far from Earth. Noon had loved the idea, saying it hit the mark for what human habitats on the moon could be. She even said that if she ever lived on the moon, she'd want a cozy home just like his design. That's how they first connected, and Nant had introduced himself as an architecture major. Nant thinks back on their life together, their wedding day when he proposed, and the happy times they shared. He watches old footage of them and breaks down in tears. He remembers how devastated Noon was when Harvey died. To cope, she had him cloned through a company called Sheep Happens, which even transferred Harvey's memories into the clone. This memory sparks an idea. If they cloned Harvey, why not Noon? Determined, Nant visits Noon's colleague and close friend Dr. V at the cloning lab. He asks her to clone Noon. V is shocked, reminding him that human cloning is illegal. Nant insists, saying Noon would have agreed. Her research was all about replacing human body parts to save lives, and she'd want to continue her work. He argues that everyone mourned the loss of her talent and that bringing her back would benefit humanity. V reluctantly considers it. She reminds him that cloning a human is uncharted territory and there is no guarantee it will work. She explains they'd need permission from Noon's parents to retrieve her cryogenically preserved body. The process involves extracting her brain and transferring its data to the clone to restore her memories. Nant approaches Noon's parents, but they refuse. They believe Noon's soul has moved on to a better place and insist on letting her rest in peace. Nant, enraged, yells at them, but they stand firm, deciding to move forward with her cremation. Desperate, Nant takes matters into his own hands. He breaks into the lab where Noon's body is stored, removes her head, and brings it to V, demanding she proceed with the cloning. The next day, Noon's father goes to the hospital and discovers her head is missing. Meanwhile, V confronts Nant, furious about what he's done, but Nant doesn't regret it. He loved Noon and would do anything to see her again. Despite her anger, V starts the cloning process, explaining how delicate it is. Retrieving Noon's memories is the key, but it's risky. There is only one chance to do it without permanently damaging the neurons. Using AI, V works to piece together Noon's memories, though it's a slow and complicated process. The AI flags inconsistencies, such as Noon's dual careers as a doctor and astronaut. V explains that the AI is sorting through her brain's complex memory system, trying to confirm the accuracy of each fragment. Eventually, V discovers something significant and calls Nant to the lab. She reveals that Noon had been researching gender reassignment surgery at 19, indicating she had wanted to be a boy from a young age. This wasn't a fleeting idea, it was deeply rooted in her identity. V explains that these feelings were hidden in Noon's subconscious, but were an integral part of who she was. As Nant learns more, he's heartbroken. He sees a memory of Noon telling her parents she didn't want to be a girl. Her father reacted harshly, calling her a freak. V explains that Noon's obsession with science became a way to cope with her struggles, a distraction from the pain of being rejected by her family. Nant is crushed when he learns that Noon married him partly to escape her parents' house. He feels deceived, questioning everything about their relationship. V tries to comfort him, explaining that Noon didn't marry him out of malice. In fact, she told V once that Nant made her feel at ease, like she could truly be herself. V reminds Nant that Noon was simply born different, struggling with dysphoria and searching for a sense of home. For Noon, Nant was that home. Nant eventually goes home, but his relief is short-lived. Noon's father, a police officer, has him arrested for desecrating her corpse. Nant is sentenced to 3 years in prison. Before his arrest, he called V with one last request, to clone Noon as she wanted to be, by changing her chromosomes from X to Y. He left a message for the clone, tell her to be herself and that I love her. 3 years later, Nant is released from prison and is met by Noon's clone, who now goes by the name Nant. The two embrace. Clone Nant updates him on his life. He's back working on heart research with funding from ISA, and is even branching into other organs. But there is a catch. ISA requires him to join the first lunar colonization program. He's leaving for the moon in 3 months. The clone thanks Nant for his courage, but advises him to prioritize himself more in the future. Nant asks if this means they'll never see each other again. The clone reassures him, saying they can video call or someday maybe Nant can visit the moon. If not, they'll always have their memories. The two share a hug before parting ways. A montage shows the beautiful moments they shared, as Noon's voiceover thanks Nant for letting her be herself. 5 years later, Nant sees the clone on TV speaking about his achievements from the moon. The clone admits he misses Earth, but recalls something Nant once said, "As long as you have love and understanding, any place can be home." Nant smiles as he watches. Later, V joins him, and they reflect on Noon's legacy before heading out for a jog together.